Guys, look. I'm... Guys, look. Look. I'm doing the Vagabond Falcon after all these years. It's finally happening. EV5, you can finally thank me. Sure, it's been like 3 years late, but it's here finally. This is the 1964 Vapid Blade. Okay, so for this week's song, or this episode song, I'm going to attempt to do my own version of California Dreaming by the Mamas and the Papas. So let's do it. All the wheels are red. All the wheels are red. And the tires are white. And the tires are white. I've been for a drive. I've been for a drive. On this clear blue night. On this clear blue night. I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy if I wasn't a blade. If I wasn't a blade. Vapid Blade Review. Vapid Blade Review. On such a sunny day. Wow, that actually sounded better than I expected. I should do more like a cappella style stuff. That gave me an idea for future content, I think. 1964 Vapid Blade. We have indeed reached peak boomer. Actually, no, this isn't peak boomer at all. For in fact, this right here is classic hipster bait. And no, not just because it came out with the I'm not a hipster update, because of the pure style. Also, the first thing you'll notice is the suspension. It's been tweaked a little bit. I may have messed with the handling.meta file for the vehicle suspension to give it the suspension a original stock look. You can still see traces of said suspension if you were to have the vehicle upside down or even on its side. However, once the car is back on its wheels again, it goes back to its modified suspension ride height. The lifted front suspension on the original Blade from an unmodded game looks like this. It's actually a tribute to the old Gasser class of dragsters from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, which was the forerunner of today's funny car class. While odd looking today, the Gasser stance came about when racers, trying to light up their cars, removed the independent front suspension of sedans and replaced it with a simpler, lighter beam axle from a pickup truck. The solid beam axle had to pass underneath the engine, which raised the front of the car. To give credit to the amount of detail Rosser put into the GTA vehicle designs, you'll actually see the beam axle if you look underneath the Vapid Blade's front end. Perhaps the classic American muscle car. Compact two-door sedan made for the greatest generation and lusted after by their jaded children. Cheap to make, and one of the highest selling new cars in American history. This is what classic American cars were once all about. Now, since I have modified the ride height to be as stock as possible with the car, I will be not reviewing this car as a dragster, but as it is in its vanilla form, a two-door muscle car coupe. The Vapid Blade actually did exist before GTA 5, but only in San Andreas. The design is vastly different from its HD counterpart. It is a two-door open-top car, reminiscent of a 1965 and 68 Chevy Impala. And like a lot of older muscle cars from San Andreas, it can be fitted with hydraulics, making it a lowrider. The car, of course, we have here today is based on, you guessed it, a 1965 Ford Falcon, with various other bits and bobs from a 68, 66 Dodge Monaco, 64 Mercury Comet, and a 70 to 72 Dodge Dart Demon. Oh yeah, I forgot the Dodge Dart used to be an actual good car before that god-awful rebadged Fiat reboot. Ugh. God. The second generation Ford Falcon, just like its predecessor, was one of the first compact cars marketed by the American Big Three, and was essentially a scaled-down Ford Galaxy. The second generation Falcon launched in 1963, and like its predecessor, featured the same body styles: a two-door coupe like our lovely Blade, a four-door sedan, a three-door and five-door station wagon, two-door convertible, two-door ute pickup, and a two-door panel van. The Falcon was also offered in a variety of engines: a 2.4, 2.8, and 3.3 Ford Swift Power, inline 6, as well as the classic Windsor V8 in both 4.3 and 4.7 liter displacement options. A 3-speed Cruise-O-Matic was offered in 65, as well as a 2-speed Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission, with the optional 3 and 4-speed manual offered as well. Also, RCR did a video on both the first generation and second generation Ford Falcon. Here's a clip from the second generation one I think you'll like.
Oh, the 289 revs faster than the 302. Therefore, it's the best race engine. Therefore, we're gonna race. We're gonna race, and I'm gonna rev, and I'm gonna.
If you can name just one car as beautiful and economical as a Falcon, I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $10,000 if you can name just one. But you can't, because there isn't any car that looks so great, yet still saves on gas like a Falcon. There isn't? Nope, that's too bad. I could have used the money.
Under the hood of the Blade, the engine in-game, or the model in-game, is a single overhead cam V8 engine, most likely based on a 4.3 or 4.7 liter Windsor. Being a muscle car from the 60s, acceleration is very, very quick, 7.8 seconds for 0 to 60, and a top speed of 105 miles per hour. Believe it or not, this car can also do wheelies as well. It's pretty simple, obviously. You just hold the handbrake, you hold the accelerator, and you wait for the engine to hit red line, and then you let off the handbrake, and whee! There you go. Now this is obviously very reminiscent of the gasser dragster. See here in this clip I found on YouTube. Alright, so as for the handling segment, I may need a couple citations here because I'm not sure if my modification to the handling file, affected the handling. Well, it probably did. It's really called handling.meta, so it might have affected it. I haven't driven one of these in its vanilla form in literally years, so I'm not sure if this is accurate. Overall though, I was quite surprised by the handling. It grips the road very well in corners, and with the high displacement V8 under the hood, I was able to quickly regain speed from hard corners. However, there were a couple instances where the high amount of torque worked against me. In some corners, I either lost rear traction and oversteered, or I spun out completely. As for racing spec, according to my boy, the myth, the legend, Brohy1322, as of an August 2020 video, the Blade managed to achieve 9th place out of 56 cars. This is a car from the very early days of GT Online, and yet it manages to hold its own years later. What's even crazier is the Vapid Dominator, which is a base game car you can get for free, is faster. And with that bombshell, the Blade has the potential to be a cheaper alternative to newer cars in muscle car races. Coming in at only $160,000, the Blade is relatively cheap compared to the newer offerings, and it is quite the bang for your buck. Unfortunately, as good as the stats are, I wouldn't drive one in GT Online. I respect Rockstar for paying homage to the Gasher style. Personally, it's not my taste. In its modified form that I have here today though, this car is awesome. Sure, it's not entirely based on the Vagabond Falcon that Mr. Begor used to own, but it still looks great and it's a fun car to drive. 1964 Vapid Blade. This one is for you, Mr. Regular. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And for the first time in a long while, I've used all my footage. I think I'm pretty much looping over my footage at this point, so I'm sorry if you see repetitive footage. But yeah, I only made about 6 minutes of footage. I figured it'd be enough, but I guess it wasn't. Well, it was barely enough. It was just by the skin of my knees there. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I will see you guys probably on Wednesday when I make another Monbazo video, so I think it's going to be interesting. Until next time, everybody, I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great day.